Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. The weather is quite hot. That's the first thing. So I'm so sorry I'm going to be blowing myself with this fan, but I'm trying to cool down and I try to buy fuel. But Nigeria is Nigerian and there's no fuel to buy. And I'm not going to really. Nope. That's too far to try and find fuel. Yeah. I have made this video quite a number of times, and today I think while I was trying to see if I had any videos that I could upload this week, and then I found this video. I found this video in my edit, about 45 minutes long, of my experience in Awgu camp, and I deleted it because I did not want to offend anybody. So let me place this disclaimer here. This video is not to insult any tribe in Nigeria. It's not to... I was really excited to actually visit the East for the first time in my life, but then this experience was not it. Hopefully I get to visit the East with maybe like, what do they call it, all these travel agencies, these tour agencies, where I know we have security, we have an interpreter, we have all the things necessary to make it fun, enjoyable, and safe. But then the truth about it is, this video is about me talking about my experience at the NYSC camp, Awgu camp in Enugu. If I would summarize what it felt like, I would say trash. That little experience was trash. It was unnecessary, it was life-threatening, and let me just give the backstory. I initially was not posted to Enugu. I was posted to Katsina first. And then when they posted me, at that point in time, I googled Katsina, and it showed for 4 days the government had switched off the network in Katsina because of terrorism. They were having issues with the bandits, and the way to solve it with our very intelligent, beautiful government was to just put everybody in the dark in Katsina. And I knew then and then that I was not going to go to Katsina. I was not willing to put my family through that. My mom was on her sick bed. I was not going to whisper in her ears that, "Mom, I'm going to Katsina." It would just be as good as trying to drive a dagger in my mother's heart, and I wasn't willing to do that. It wasn't... I know my family members, my uncles and aunties wouldn't have been comfortable with that. I was not comfortable with that, even if everybody was comfortable with that. So I knew I was not going to do that. So I just zeroed my mind and I was like, okay, we'll try the next batch. This one, I am not going. And then 2 weeks later, it came out and I saw Enugu. I googled Enugu, and what they said was it was the safest state to live in Nigeria, and I was there. All right, okay. And I was low-key excited because I knew this was where Kamsi, Namani, and Dima Ume was from. So I was like, you know, when they talk about Enugu, they're like, Enugu is so soft, Enugu is so sweet, Enugu is so calm, Enugu is so serene, it's so clean, it's so this. So I was like, damn, I need to experience this Enugu because Lagos is not Lagos. And I really wanted, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I wanted to go to Lagos camp because I knew it was going to enrich I wanted to be close to somewhere that was happening, that I would be able to get content all the time because I wanted to push my content creation. I knew I was going to meet people that were going to be like-minded, that would help with the whole content creation journey that I was starting. So I packed my bags and I pretty much went to Enugu. We got to the camp really late in the night. It wasn't... We got to the airport. I got a taxi. I shared a taxi with a fellow copper. It was 10,000 naira. If I knew Awgu camp was just less than 1 hour from the airport, I wouldn't have paid that much. But it was 10,000 naira. But I think we split it 5K. I'm not sure. And we got to the camp in the night. We got to the gate. they told us to rip the airport bags off, the airport tag off, so that I guess that was like neutralizing ground. That's their business. You don't need the airport tag to be special. I was special from my day 1 to day 7 when I left that camp. Anyway, we got to the camp. It was really late in the night. We got our rooms pretty easy. The registrations were not like much, and they knew we came really late, so they just needed to settle us in rooms so we would sleep. Okay, we slept and we woke up the next day around. I really wanted to take my bath. That was the first thing that was off about the camp. But there was no water. And I was like, do you mean I'm going to take this sticky body all the way, that came all the way from Ibadan to Lagos to Enugu in one day, to bed? I think not. I knew I was not going to be able to sleep, but that was the state of the camp by that night. And then I was like, okay, maybe they are trying to sort out water issues. Maybe they did not pump that much because they didn't know we're going to be this much. Me, in my mind, I thought it was only one day that everybody came. It was later when I found out that people have been coming for 4 days. They gave us different resumption days. And so I was like, okay, so you actually had time to actually build capacity for this much people. They were just moving mad in that camp. Moving on, I slept, I woke up. They woke us up at 3 o'clock for no reason. Let me not get ahead of myself. So we took our baths and we went for morning devotion 5 o'clock. The morning devotion was just compulsory jargons and them just warning us, threatening us. That was just what it was. Not even warning. At this point, all the things they were saying, they were just threatening us at that place. I was like, okay, we already knew that this was what we came for. This was what we signed up for. All right, let's just see how it was. And I remember my friend saying, if you make up your mind to, because me, everybody knows I'm the soft life queen. You cannot you cannot be hostile or harsh towards me thinking it will give you a good result with me. If you beat me in school, that subject will be the one I will be worst at. If you harass me, like I knew a pastor that was trying to use threatening to convert me to be a serious Christian. I rebelled last. And their rebellion was, I just stopped coming to their church. It doesn't work for me. If you can't, like, my own, I don't know, style is, you have to sweet talk me into things. But I knew what we went to camp for was, they were going to be hostile towards us. My friend said I should make up my mind that it was not a nice place. Keep in mind, she went to the same camp. And she was like, it was not the best experience. She was tired. They were constantly bullying, harassing. And that assembly in the morning showed that, okay, we're really in for it. The people threatened us. They tried to punish somebody unjustly at that place because he clapped. And they were like, you're trying to clap this woman off. But the woman said they should leave the person alone. The woman was the camp coordinator. She was in charge of the camp. In hierarchy, it was state coordinator, that camp leader. Then we had camp commanders, medical, and something under them. Anyway, then the day-to-day also started. It was really rubbish. For the first 2 days, they didn't bring uniform for a lot of us, so we had to wear our muftis around. And then eventually they brought uniforms, and lo and behold, I already knew they were not going to give me my size. But the only thing was the way the girls that were in charge of the uniforms were treating us, trying to change it. They were saying, okay, we should get me. This short was not going to be my size, but they could give me another short so that I would rip it and insert it and put it in my sides of my shorts to make it accommodate me. The way she's, get away, didn't you bring any shorts? Don't come here, don't come back here. I was like, it's not your shorts. You cannot pack this short and go and wear it at home. So I don't know what your problem is. That lady in that Awgu camp in charge of uniform. What is it your short? Is it your short? Is it your business? The government brought it there for me, not for you. Because they now put you in charge. You think I'll be talking to somebody anyhow. It's wrong. If you are watching this, you were a terrible, rude person. And it was unnecessary. If you don't want to do the job, if people cannot be nice, if they put you in charge of things and you feel like, okay, I'm not a people person, I don't have good character, resign. Don't take government jobs where they pay heavily and come and be behaving badly. All the people in secretariat, all the people in immigration, they are paying you people really well to do these jobs. Government jobs pay very well. So, public school teachers, if you don't want to do the job, resign. Somebody that is kind will take your position. So all the shouting that you were shouting at me, I don't see. Oh, it was because we were in camp. Now, if I see you outside, if you step to me, all right. That, moving on, the state of the hostels, I don't know what to call this. When I entered the hostel halls, it looked like I literally walked into a dumping ground. The halls just had a pathway, and at the sides of the hall, trash. Like, it smelled so bad. It was so damp, so wet. There was water everywhere. There was no organizations. Everybody had to hustle for their rooms. Okay. And under this trash, guess what was there? Beds. The beds that we were supposed to sleep on. The bed that I came all the way from Ibadan to sleep on. That people's children traveled all the way from the north. Some people 24 hours, some people 36 hours to sleep on, was covered in trash and water. The beds were in terrible condition. They looked like they were given to dogs to bite off the clothes. It was as thin as a slice of bread. It smelled bad, musky, wet. Just imagine the most and the beds, the metal beds were in no the bed I got, I had to sleep on the floor. Because I knew if I slept on that bed, I'm fat, I would sink into the bed and break it, and the beds were made of metal, so I knew it was going to be a bad situation and the beds were going to injure me. All right. But we don't have a choice. It literally looked like, I've seen movies that they made in prisons, Nigerian prisons. They did not, Nigerian, I don't know, I've never been to prison before. I've never followed them to prison evangelism before. But then, the ones I've seen, it did not look this bad. It just looked like I came there to put my health at risk. There was no water to do any form of cleanup. There was no... I just found a room, and I think that was the only good thing about that Enugu camp. But moving on, I found a room of nice girls, and I stayed there. I slept on the floor. There was a woman that came in while all my stuff were... I took 2 slices of bed and I laid them on top of each other, and she came and she threw everything. My phones were on the bed, and she just flipped it over, broke the screen of my phone first day. I don't think I met any official except the person in charge of Platoon 1, that was a nice person in this camp. I'm talking about camp filled with kitchen officials, soldiers, market people. Nobody was kind. I'm not talking about nice, kind to us. Nobody. It was like, I'm like, I know they trained you people before coming here. Did they tell you people to treat us as bad as you can? Because that's the only way you can get through into the skulls of Nigerian youths. Or you people just chose that was the style you wanted to use. Moving on. After that came the soldier harassment. They would wake us up with so much noise, shouting, get us to run for no reason. Because, let me just put this in here. I think NYSC camps are put there for the Nigerian government to show us that they have power over us. It's a camp that is supposed to condition your mind into the fear of soldiers. I never really had a fear of soldiers. I didn't go to military school, and I know, okay, if I do not, I know they can be moving mad, but okay, if I just stay on my lane, they ask me for my particulars, anything. If they say, Auntie, give me all money, if I say I don't have, they cannot kill me. But this camp and the amount of power they gave these soldiers really instilled into me, okay, this is where people get the fear of soldiers. They can tell you to roll on the floor, sit on the floor, crawl, lie down, do whatsoever they wanted in the name of, you have offended me and I would like to put you in your place. Anyway, the living conditions did not improve. The next day, girls came up with, okay, people in charge of the hostels, some girls came, okay, we need to clean these hostels. And the women that they put in charge of the hostels to clean demanded that we pay them money. I was confused at first because I knew everybody was getting paid. If we're going to pay the women that will clean, are we going to pay the women that will cook for us in the kitchen? Are we going to pay people that will take care of us in the clinics? But we all had to contribute 500 naira. It ran into hundreds of thousands that we were going to give these women as bribe to clean this God-forsaken, disgusting, pathetic. I don't even want to remember the conditions of this bathroom. The last video I did, at this point, when I talked about that toilet, so I'm not going to talk about it, I stood up and I went to throw up. That is just what it was. The most vile, disgusting thing I had ever seen. And they will say, they cleaned it. It was the girls that made it nasty. No, they didn't clean it. The walls, after we paid those women to clean it, they just swept away the water. They had poop, blood, everything. They just swept it out. The walls, everything. I used that toilet only once, and I found lime. I put it in an handkerchief, and I put it over my face while I pooped into the potty, and I closed my eyes trying to send my mind somewhere else. And as soon as I was done using the toilet, I threw up into that before I threw that into the closet. And I was able to buy a paint bucket of water. You know, small paint bucket for 15 naira to rinse that out. Every day you would have to wake up by 3 o'clock to queue for water. You were in charge of cleaning your own rooms, and I was lucky enough to have some nice girls. Some of them would just clean the room. Ouch, 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 ouch. Clean the room without... The best thing that happened to me was the girls that I met in my room in that camp. Okay, after like 2-3 days of them bullying us, I was getting to my breaking point. I was crying a lot. I was malnourished. I was eating mostly Golden More cornflakes, biscuits that I brought from home, because the food that they were giving to us. My sister has pets. If they gave this food to them, they will not eat it. It was the only food I ever ate was rice and stew. But this stew, put in mind that the stew was mostly onions that they just sauteed and it became translucent with oil and tiny bit of pepper on top of a tiny plate of rice. And the state coordinator told us, I think they gave them 500 naira per meal for us. So he really blamed it on the government. All right. The kitchen was ungodly. I never got to be in kitchen duty, but then my hostel was in front of the kitchen, and I never ate their food, but I saw some of them. The ogbono looked like. The okra was... I was looking... You know, Igbo food in this southwest, we go and pay good money to go and eat Igbo food. So I was looking forward to eating Igbo food every day. Even if it was not Igbo food, Igbo restaurants level, I felt like it would have the Igbo vibe. This was just trash food. It looked like they were trying to and they succeeded at it. Give us food poisoning. A large number of people. This was the food I heard everybody was eating. I was like, no wonder the soldiers are so mean to us. This is what you are feeding them. This is their duty. Just like they are protecting the Nigeria in the north. This is the food you are giving them to as duty over us. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised they are so mad all the time. I didn't eat most of their food. I remember I smelled their egusi, and the smell was so bad. I'm not even a diva. I'm somebody that can live with the barest minimum. So somebody will say, but there are not people that were living with it. Yes, but I did try to eat the rice, and I purged for 2 days. So if I had the egusi, what would have happened to me? I would have died. Another crucial part I forgot to mention was the condition of the kitchens. My hostel was in front of the kitchen, so I saw how the food was made in the most horrible conditions and far from healthy. Anyway, the side lectures were nonsense. They would just go there, boss trying to talk to us about ICPC, EFCC, nothing that would you would actually go out and help you. I remember the only fun thing was EFCC. They were asking him, why do they harass Nigerian youths? And the man said, and I quote, believe me, most of those EFCC officials that you see harassing Nigerian youths are not EFCC officials.
Wow.
Hello, sir. What are the ones that broke into Dino Milai's house through the roof? Like a thief in the night. Were they not EFCC officials? I don't know where they get their license to destroy things. Okay, if you now find out that Dino Milai was not a criminal, would you go back and fix his POP? Even if he's a criminal, do you have to break in? I saw his daughters. You were harassing a lot of people. You wanted only Dino. Let's just not talk about that. Now, but that was the only thing that was fun about that side. That's the only thing I remember. A lot of them will come trying to it was just nonsense. The registration, I experienced a serious level of tribalism. Whenever we're speaking Yoruba, the women there will say, Ngbatin people, you are cursing us, Abi. You are saying we are mad. You are saying this. I was like, who is talking to you people? Why do you have such problem with people speaking their language? A lot of times on the campground, I heard Igbo students. They were Igbo. Don't ask me how I know. All the ones that I heard saying it, I knew they were Igbo because they backed it up with statements like, Shey Igbo did not used to go to school. I'm like, now only Yoruba people free this camp. Ngbati, that's why everywhere is dirty. They brought the stereotypes of Yoruba people are dirty into camp. The whole purpose of NYSC is supposed to bring together Nigeria, bring a level of unity into Nigeria, but then that whole camp I saw, first things first, the way they treated us, the way they spoke to us, and a particular woman made me cry because I was like, Ma, we're not talking to you. We're speaking Yoruba, but we're not talking to you. And then she collected my card and told me to leave her front. My only offense was I was speaking Yoruba. So it was until I queued and started crying. And she told me, so you can cry. They were now speaking Igbo amongst themselves, laughing, saying I even look like Igbo, but I cannot be Igbo with this my attitude. I'm like, what attitude? I'm audacious. I can speak up when I did not do anything wrong. That's what makes me Yoruba. Go, suppressed woman. Anyway, the officials were mostly barbaric. And then by the 5th day, I developed breathing problems. Awgu camp is quite hilly, yeah. So every time they made us run on the hills, I would eventually get to the top of the hills in front of the side halls, and I would be panting, trying to breathe, and this caused like a certain amount of pain. I'm not sure it was, no, not that I'm not sure. I know for a fact I've had anxiety attacks before, panic attacks. So I knew this was because I was fat and I was trying to get to the top of the hill and the soldiers were constantly harassing us. I had panic attacks. And from it, I fell on the floor. I was trying to breathe. The soldiers were trying to hold me up, trying to take me to the clinic. I told them I was all right because I didn't want to go to the clinic. Then, because I knew they did not have anything, when I had cough or catarrh, I went there and they only gave me maybe paracetamol for cough and catarrh. They literally brought us there to suffer. Then the one that was that tipped me off and got me out of the camp in 1 week was on the 5th day in camp. I, like I said, developed breathing problems, and they were going to take us to the parade ground, and I was already going. I was marching, they were marching us there. I was already going, but I just left the queue and I turned back and went into camp. The parade ground is not in the camp. You have to walk out to eat, because I felt like there was a knot in my chest, and I just turned. And when you turn out of, they queue us in threes so that they will see us go, and if anybody left the queue, they'll be able to sight us. But I moved out of the queue and I was going back into camp, like opposite direction of how we were supposed to be going, and no soldier stopped me. I felt like I was turning blue, like I couldn't breathe, and I went back into camp. The only thing was the soldier at the back was like, eh? Okay. And I went back into camp and I went to stay in front of the clinic. Okay, I need to see a doctor, I need to see a doctor, I need to see a nurse. Bear in mind, there's no doctor, there's no medical personnel in this camp. The only medical personnel that we had were coppers. I'm not saying they are not real medical personnel, but I don't know how to put this. Somebody that had experience in treating people should be in charge of a large group of people. These coppers were overwhelmed. A lot of people were falling sick from the terrible state of food and the environment. And the matron they put there, I don't think she even has a nursing license. She didn't wear a white dress till I left. So that was why I assumed she probably was not even a real nurse. And Dr. Chooks is the only person I'm going to mention his name, because he was a despicable, horrible person who should probably be figured out and his license should be revoked. Yeah, I said that. I went into that camp and I was breathing hard, and the next thing, the girls took me in because it was an emergency, or because of how I was breathing, and they were trying to take my clothes off and blowing me with breeze. They brought these blue pink pills. I was like, what is this? What is this? And they didn't tell me what it was. They just told me to use it. I should not have probably done that, but then I needed help. And then after like 1 hour, I slept. I woke up, I stood up and I went. And then when I got to the front of the clinic, I was like, okay, I still have this knot in my chest. I was going to go back into the place, and then they were like, oh, this is full, you can't come. I just stepped out. They were like, it's full, you can't. I was like, okay, I'll wait here. And then the camp commandant, the soldier, came and was like, all of you in front of this camp, you are philandry. I don't even know, they were using a word that we were all lying, we're not sick, we're trying to get out of living the life of punishment that they put down for us. Like, all of you, go to the field. Some people were leaving. Go to the field. Even a woman that was there were two people in charge of the clinic. One, he said it with his mouth that he studied social studies or something, and the other one to business admin or something, and they put them in charge of the clinic. Not even public health, not even something that was not. Anyway, the woman was like, all of you should leave here. I told them to leave. They were not listening to me. We were feeling sick. At least you will test us and say, okay, you are feeling well, go. And then at that point, I'd been crying a lot. I just burst into tears, and I was like, in front of the soldiers, the camp commandant and him, I said, I am not living here. She was like, what do you mean? I said, ma, I need to see a doctor. Or whatever should happen, should happen. I'm not living here. Do you want me to die? I had tears in my eyes. My mouth was shaking. I was like, do you want to kill me? I need to see a doctor now. I was like, hey, you need to see a doctor. Go and bring an exit. If you're really that sick and you need to see a doctor, go and bring an exit. I will sign it so that you will leave. I said, is that all? All right. Immediately, I went to my platoon leader. I was like, sir, I need an exit. The man was like, Mauro, but no, you can't do that. I've been looking at you, that you're the one that would do Miss Bold and Beautiful for us. I was like, shut up, Bold and Beautiful, lame. And him gave me exit. The man was like, hey, God, what happened? Then I explained to him, and he was like, why do they treat you people like this? That was how I knew that man was different from this talk. Like, you people are people's children. Now, why are they so harsh and necessarily unkind to you? Like, let them let you see a doctor and then you will get better and you'll be able to do this 3 weeks camp. No, I said, no, they are not giving me. I wrote the letter and I took it to the camp woman. Then the woman was like, breathing problems. When did you have breathing problems? I said, ma, maybe when I was much younger, but I didn't have it. She was like, I should have, if I had asthma, I should have brought the letter that me, I'm lying and forming. I said, ma, let me see a doctor. Let them tell me I'm lying, I'm forming with all my symptoms and pain. Then I'll be able to like go and cope with the pain. But if I'm not seeing a doctor that will talk to me at all, and you as a commander, you cannot tell me I'm lying. And she was like, what do you mean? And she just scattered my exact letter that she was supposed to send. She just scattered it on the floor. I was like, okay, so I will not see a doctor. You will not release me to go home. Then I just burst into tears. And I started breathing hard in front of this woman. Part of it was panic. Part of it was the pain in my chest. Part of it was anger, sadness. And the woman was like, hey, what's wrong with you? No. She called her secretary. Oh, yeah, come and take her to the clinic. Oh, come and take her to the clinic. So they took me to the clinic. They gave me those same blue pills. I was like, no, I just need to see a doctor. I don't know what this is. I was having they checked my BP. My BP was clinically and terribly high. I told them I had high blood pressure before. I told them, I was honest about it. They were like, did I bring my medication? I said no, that my high blood pressure doesn't really show up unless I am extremely stressed. The doctor was like, should I brought your medication? I said, I'm not going to stay on a medication that I don't need. If I am not stressed, if you're not threatening or stressing my life, I would not need this medication. And I'm not going to keep popping drugs that are supposed to reduce my blood pressure if my blood pressure is normal. Because low blood pressure can kill. Doctor. It was like, all right. So the girl was like, okay, whatever is wrong with her is serious. Her blood pressure is high. She can't breathe. I think we need to get her to an actual hospital. Then Dr. Chooks just came in, like, tell her to go and lie down. As usual, I laid down. I was weeping. I couldn't. The nurse was trying to pet me that you need to calm down. You need to calm down. Like, you need to calm down. You need to breathe. You need to try and breathe. I said, I cannot breathe. Don't tell me I need to try and breathe. Then she put me down. They were blowing me with fan. There was one that was rubbing my back and praying over me because that was all they could do. And then he showed me. So when I woke up in the night and they rushed this girl into the hospital and she was unconscious. So just brought her in. At that point, the camp director, everybody had come. Yes, the leader of the camp is called the camp director. So she came in, she was like, what's wrong? They called her because this person was unconscious, obviously. So this one was like, and they did not know what to do with her. They were like, hey, God, see where the clinic is full. What's now wrong with this one? They went to bring the ambulance that they sent maybe to go and buy corn or something. They brought the ambulance. And the woman was like, do we need to take her to an hospital outside? Then the Chooks just strode in with his lackadaisical attitude. saying, he told the younger doctors that were trying to like give her first aid to move. From what I knew, this person was supposed to be a doctor from the last set. That's why I said, if they give you your license as soon as you leave uni, they need to find Dr. Chooks, because Dr. Chooks will be killing people. Anyway, they tried to give her, and she was crying. When she just came back to life, she was crying. She was really crying. Then the camp social director person in charge of the hospital came in and was like, I don't like all this thing. We say if you people are sick, you should come and report. I was like, wait, that we've been sick since that we came to stay in front of here. You went to call soldiers to come and pursue us away. I said I was not leaving. If not, I was stubborn. I would not be in this place where you'll be giving me some type of ridiculous first aid that is not really helping my life. The woman was like, okay, all of you come and collect eggs yet. I don't want anybody to die in this camp. I was like, is that not what I've been begging you for since morning? That you threw on the floor. She was like, she came to my bed. She was like, don't worry. Your exit is already ready. I will give you your exit. Come and be going on. She was like, where are you going to? I said, Lagos. She was like, how will you get to Lagos like this? I said, I don't know. When I leave, now I'll figure out. She said, am I going by land? Because in everything that was in her mind was like, hey, copper will die. I was like, no. He said, you are flying. Hey, thank God you are flying. That's all right. Then the girl, the most despicable thing I saw Dr. Chooks do was, the girl said she couldn't feel her legs. She couldn't feel her legs. And all these times they were really trying to tell her to shut up. How do you tell a patient that was in pain, that was shaking and panicking to shut up? Most of all these students, doctors that were coppers like us, already moved to the back. They were looking at them in pure horror of, why are these people behaving like this? And I saw Dr. Chooks poke this girl with something. He stabbed her leg with it. And because she didn't fidget or move, we realized, for real, she can't feel her legs. After I left, all the corporate doctors were like, this is gross misconduct. This is wrong. This is that. Me in my mind, I was like, tomorrow morning, I'd not even wear the white so that they will not even force me. I wore jeans, Crocs, and white top, and I dragged my box down. After I got out of that camp, I went to an hotel, and then I went to a clinic where the doctor was like, maybe he thinks I have pneumonia, or I don't even, I can't remember exactly what they said I had, but he said that was it, and from tests they did, I'm malnourished. I've never been malnourished in my life. Look at my chin. Malnourishment has never been. But the experience of that camp, and lo and behold, I spent only 7 days in camp. There are some people that still went ahead 3 weeks later. My Awgu experience was just awful. There was nothing I would say they tried on. Not the food. The state coordinator was running up and down trying to find water. It was never enough. Not the food, not the water, not... NYSC is just, it's not cruise. Some people say it's cruise. It's not cruise. This thing is rubbish. The government probably does not have enough money to fund it. I don't know why they are still enforcing it. If they are going to keep enforcing it, they need a complete restructuring so that they would be able to pass across correct information. All they did there was, it looked like a controlled camp, like a North Korea type of camp thing, you know. Yeah. Jesus. Anyway, if this is your first time on my channel, please subscribe. Sorry about this Debbie Downer story. I do more fun, uplifting content, but this story time was just something I had to put out there for anybody that was going to Awgu camp, so that you prepare your mind. And if you can say, okay, I'm not going, let me go to another camp, please do. Awgu camp is the ghetto, it's trenches, it's rubbish, it's horrible, it's terrible. There's nothing you would enjoy there. The only people that will give you joy are your fellow coppers that you meet there. But if you know maybe your health is not the strongest, or don't do it. Don't go to that camp. Find another camp and go to that. Please subscribe to my channel. I drop videos as often as I can. Don't let me say weekly. I can't promise that. Thank you. I hope to see you in another video. Bye.